What's up, YouTube? This shit about Epstein, man. Everybody acting like he was taught by Maxwell's father and all this other shit. No, y'all got it completely wrong. And I'll explain here in a minute. What you got completely wrong is the fact that Epstein worked for the Rothschilds. He stated it multiple times. Remember, he said multiple times that he represented the Rothschild family. Remember that? Okay. Now, see, Maxwell had been caught stealing from the Rothschilds. And what are they known for? Putting people in debt, financially ruining them, right? What happened in 91? Maxwell was financially ruined, was he not? Yes, he was. Also, I'm unclear if him being pushed overboard was the reason he had a heart attack or if he had a heart attack before he was pushed. But he was definitely pushed overboard. I think the name of the boat tells you who did it. Ghislaine was the one that said she thought he was pushed. And she said he was pushed. She didn't say she thought. Yeah, that's what we said. That her deal was that that's what she was thinking. But she said she knew that he was pushed. Um, what if she was the one that pushed him? Well, we all know that women will do that kind of stuff, even daughters, to take over money. Did you ever think that that little girl was so evil that she did the bidding for the Rothschilds? All for the money and the fame. You have women selling their own children for money and fame. We all know that that's the whole reason behind the feminist movements. That's the whole reason behind the Me Too movements. That's what they're going after. Control. Financial control. Why? Because all of them believe that that is power. That's why feminists would take over your finances. Because that's control. I think that's why they also pushed into this money way of living instead of the barter system and the way things used to be, because women didn't want to work the field like that. Some of them would, but majority of them would not. You know, want to know where slavery and all that came from? These lazy, ignorant females. They are all for getting somebody else to do all the hard work, are they not? All back in that day, all a female had to do was suggest it and basically love bomb on the dude that they're with and be like, don't you want more time with me? And then sell it. Remember, the idea of slavery and all that came from the Egyptians and the fallen angels that were spreading technology around the world. Imagine that. What's still spreading? Technology. What do most people fight over? Money and technology. Pretty funny how it all connects perfectly. But yeah, I believe Ghislaine had something to do with that. So she could take over where her daddy fucked up. And maybe that was saving her ass too. Because you never know. The Rothschilds are some really wicked people. Ghislaine probably knows that. And I know that's probably going to be her excuse if this ever comes out. You know, that fool is that she was threatened by them, which you can see clearly she wasn't threatened by anybody. She did that because she wanted to. She enjoyed it. So did Epstein. But like I said, I think Epstein was put in because of what Robert Maxwell did. And I think he was the handle Ghislaine. And I think Ghislaine was the one doing the recruiting and all that. Well, pretty funny. She had a whole layout on how to do it, where to go, how much to offer, what to look for. She was even able to persuade other women into selling their children. Now, remember, we're all sitting here acting like women would never do this, and here you are, watching a woman play you like a fiddle. Now, do I believe she's in prison? No, I don't. The one they have in prison acting as Ghislaine is not Ghislaine. That is not Maxwell. I don't care what anybody says. There's no fucking way. I want a DNA test done, and I want cameras on that shit so they can't lie about it. Oh yeah, she's got to have medical history on file. There's got to be a way to know the real Ghislaine's DNA strand and see if it matches that lady in prison. And I guarantee you it doesn't. But yeah, that's the thing with the Epstein situation. That's the reason why everything's being pointed at Epstein because he was meant to take the fall for what the Rothschilds were doing. Yeah, instead of their family name being passed around, it's Epstein. Which have we ever heard of the last name Epstein before? No, at least I haven't. Yeah, it's almost like they used him as a wild card. So if he got caught, all the stuff would go towards him. You know what I mean? That's exactly what it seems like. But people are going to believe what they want, but that's what it looks like because women were the ones that were able to get into these children a lot easier than any man. Well, I don't even want to use that word man. Any male. Let's put it that way. Yes, when I say man like that, I mean like, mankind, man, or male, of course. But see, that gets confused with the other man, and people don't know the got different, you know, sides of that line. Mhm. And this is how things get all confusing because people don't know where the lines are. And people like to move the goalpost or the line. And then be like, nope, it's here. It's always been here. Just because they know that they're hiding something else. Or because painting that picture and getting people to believe it gets them to believe their next bullshit. Oh, I've dealt with fucking people like this my whole life. I fucking can't stand them. It's probably why I can't stand liars and manipulators. Can't fucking stand them. Dude, are you retarded? There we go. Yeah, I hit the back button, it goes to the screensaver. I hit the back button again. It doesn't normally go to a screensaver when you hit the back button. It normally goes back, but it went to the screensaver. So I hit the back button again, and it goes to the video I was just on instead of going back to the main YouTube menu. I mean, this is insane. Just like we know for a fact that a lot of women will go after free money. That's why you have the welfare queens and the gold diggers out there. Yeah, they seen the government was offering money for fucked up families. So that's what they set out to do. All these men that are, you know, hardworking and kind of ugly, they will go after. They would try and, boast them up or, you know, basically use witchcraft manipulation to make them think that these women think that they're something great. And they are great, but the only reason these women are doing this is to empower them to go out and make money and to kiss their ass, to protect them, especially when people come back saying shit about them, because that will happen also. Oh, yeah, they do it from a young age, no matter if they've got money or not. It's like the spirit of Eve is still in them, and they are devious. Well, how come males act the way they do? Oh, a lot of them are secretly trying to impress a woman. They don't know which one yet. A lot of them are trying to impress all the women. Yep, so they can go behind everybody's back and mess with them all. Yeah, those are F boys. You gotta watch them closely because they're tricky. Well, they see what good men do, they hear what good men are, and they will use that and improv off of it. These gold digging women know what a good woman is, knows what is expected. That's what she uses love bombing until she sees a point that she can twist it or flip it. Then she will. Now, let's say she gets wrapped up in the relationship and forgets all about what she's really there to do. Right. She'll start, going along with everything, the way she should, not messing with it or sabotaging it until she remembers that, oh shit, I'm here for a reason. Right. These are things most of the time they don't say out loud. Some of them are stupid enough they will, some of them are not. But I think it's funny that we have Rothschilds doing this with Galen's dad, Galen. I still think Galen is the one that shoved him off that boat. He was naked, right? Yeah. Well, yeah, he could have been wearing just a towel, but that means he was naked at some point on that boat before whatever happened happened. Now, is it possible he got drunk and fell off the boat? Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they did a toxicology report. We haven't heard anything about, alcohol or drugs being in his system. And I hope you know Israel was the one that was one of the ones that came up with that heart attack gun, that thing that can shoot uh, waves at you and make your heart stop. We don't even know if that's real. Yeah, you do because they showed it in Congress years ago. It's on video being in court. Yep. If you think they haven't made it better or, advanced it, you're stupid. There's a lot of people that were young, in good health, and all of a sudden had heart attacks in the acting industry and in the music industry, as well as government. Just like John McCain. Remember when they were trying to get, information and stuff out of him, and then all of a sudden he ends up with cancer out of the blue? Yeah, isn't that crazy? But like I said, I believe Epstein was brought in to keep an eye on the Maxwells. Yeah, I believe he was brought in to force the daughter to keep doing what her father was doing for the Rothschilds. And I believe Epstein was the handler, not Maxwell. I believe Maxwell was the mastermind behind it. Epstein was just the handler. And yeah, people started getting wind about it. So I believe they put those two in to take the fall. To make it look like they actually did something about this. But we can clearly see all they did was take out the puppets that were already known. As in, there was a lot of suspicions around them. There was a lot of things pointing to the fact that they seemed creepy as hell. But like I said, I think all that was constructed. I think they wanted them to look creepy as hell and get everybody's eyes towards them. What does that do? That allows the Rothschilds to do more shit behind everybody's back, like wars. Imagine that. That's what's going on. Stealing oil, because they've done that. And it's funny because people are saying that the thing in Butler was staged. And when I first started seeing it, I had questions like that. Because even if it came in and barely like nicked his ear, it still would have caught the back of his head at that angle. Oh, yeah, if you watch the line of it, it wouldn't have just nicked the back of his ear. And if you see where the video was showing that he had blood coming from, and you draw that line again, it would have caught the back corner of his head. Yeah. I've been stabbed in exactly that part of my ear. And guess what? It caught my head. Very little bit. Yeah, I was a little slow on blocking that one, and it got me. We'll talk about that at another time. But same ear, same location. Only difference is different weapon used. So I know for a fact the side of his head would have gotten hit. Or at least grazed, and it didn't. And if you've seen the blood splatter on his cheek, it looks like a straight line. You know what I mean? Almost trying to symbolize that the bullet like grazed his cheek and then grazed his ear and went on. But he has no scars. Have you noticed that? There's no scar. There's no indication that he was ever shot there. Yeah. Hmm. Seems a little weird, doesn't it? Even my ear was stitched back together, and it still shows that it had a wound. Even if, I had surgery done to fix it, you still would be able to tell. So, that right there, there's something up with that. And the fact that you had people in an upstairs building right over top of Crooks that was supposed to be security, and they're trying to act like they didn't see him on top of the roof. Your window view looks right at where he was laying. How the fuck did you not see it? Not only that, when you play the gun audio, there's two different guns firing from Crook's direction. That's not one weapon, that's two weapons. One puts off a burst of like three or four, and then the other one puts off a burst of like three or four. Almost like it was trying to time exactly when Crook shot, but it was a second, about a split second behind it. Almost like they were trying to use a dude that can't shoot to take the fall, while the one in the upstairs that can shoot takes the real shot. That's why I think the person in the crowd was targeted. I don't think that was an accident. No, I think they were trying to scare Trump supporters and whatnot. For what reason? I don't know. Maybe just to take lives and make it seem like something else. Well, that's what they do a lot, isn't it? They scheme up all these, fake little scenarios and then they play them out. And what I mean by fake is some of the people that are attacked or, a part of it have nothing to do with what we're really trying to get at. It's just a distraction. Sometimes they know it, sometimes they don't. Almost like some of the hood rats when they're trying to divert so their boy can get away from cops or this, that, or the other. They'll start, you know, something that draws attention. That way, gives the other dude a chance to run. Yeah, that's what I think. All these little now, are they actually hurting people and all that? Yeah, that part's real. You know, haven't you heard the people? Even in movies and all that, gotta make it look real. Well, what's a better way of making it look real than actually taking people out that to you don't matter? Right. They're basically using everybody in the world just as a actor. Sometimes they know it, sometimes they don't. Just like Charlie. Charlie was used as a diversion and an actor. And because he wouldn't play along and his movement got so big, they're like, you know what, gotta shut this down. Well, they want you to believe in God for Sunday church and to make sure you give money. But other than that, they don't really care. I'm telling you, something along the lines of I don't know the exact details, but I can tell you that Epstein was a plant to divert accountability away from the Rothschilds. Yeah, I believe ever since Maxwell father's death, you know, I believe people were digging into the Rothschilds because of that. Just like when um, Macron, the one dude that traces around like a chick from France, um, the one reporter over there that was reporting about that person being a dude and not a chick, and then all of a sudden the Rothschild name comes into how he disappeared. Right. They work for the Rothschilds. That's why they can do whatever the fuck they want. Now, if stuff comes out, you see they are put with the president, they are put in high places. Right. Yeah, they put Macron with Melania bringing out AI, and nobody pays attention to what that's telling you. We can do what we want. This demonic system is going to take you over no matter what. That's basically what they're telling you. Boy, what did the good book say about the Antichrist system? Those that don't accept it will perish. The ones that do accept it are doomed. Sounds like our government. We accept it, we're doomed. We don't accept it, they want us gone. Huh? Sounds like the Antichrist system right there. Yeah, that would mean it's being controlled by the Antichrist. Yeah, imagine that. Taking over law and order, which is God's position, right? Judging law and order, the way life is supposed to be lived, right? Yeah. Now they're coming out with AI, which will be the physical Antichrist. Everybody keeps thinking it's a person. I don't think so. Just like everybody's looking for this, computer chip when it says the mark would be received in the right hand or the forehead. Uh, Tangible money is received in the right hand. Once it's switched to plastic and digital, it is now in your brain. You hold all that information in your brain and use a plastic card with a chip. Looks like you already accepted it. A lot of people have a smartphone in their hand. Is that a chip? Yes. What also is linked to that smartphone? Banking. What else? AI. There you go. It's really that simple.